All right, Shalom. I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai Ba'ashem, Rakakadash, the honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, rule well. Peace, blessings, and salutations to you sincere brothers out there pushing the truth across the four corners of the earth. All right, just real quick, we're coming into, winter times, coming into the time where all of these deals are being made, and as you can see, with this new administration, they're already coming for Jake. Kamala Harris and Joe Biden, the crime bill and the top cop, right? You're seeing Jake getting locked up under all these federal charges. And, basically they're doing a house cleaning, man, making an example of all these different people. It was a couple of rappers who got caught up, a couple of people who got fed, Grandmaster Jay, all these different people, which who knows, who they're really working for, but whatever. It's all part of the experience of being in Babylon. All right, but more importantly, this article says, millions of hungry Americans turn to food banks for the first time. All right, the scriptures talk about, rise up, ye careless women, the vintage shall fail. And that's exactly what's going to happen, man. That vintage is going to fall short, and a lot of these people are going to be hungry. All right, it says, the deadly pandemic that tore through the nation's heartland struck just as Aaron Crawford was in a moment of crisis. He was looking for work. His wife needed surgery, and the virus began eating away at her work hours and her paycheck. The Crawfords had no savings, mounting bills, and a growing dread. What if they ran out of food? The couple had 2 boys, 5 and 10, and a box of macaroni. And box of macaroni from the dollar store could only go so far. And, if you are down, talking to the men of the Lord, if you are down, you only got a couple of dollars, there's certain things you can get, for pretty cheap. You can try to get you some cans of soup or peanut butter. They got a lot of leafy greens, which are relatively cheap, So you still have some things you can get, but ultimately you need to be calling on the name of the Lord, asking for mercy, asking for those blessings, And also that's what the ministry is there for, sincere brothers who, they need help. All right, that's why the scriptures say 2 is better than 1. Talking about that cord that's twisted up. I think it's a thrice twain cord. All right, that's what the ministry is, man. With that cord, and that cord, that giant rope that they make, where they thread all of those different threads together. That thing is damn near unbreakable. All right, and Lord willing, that be us in the time of that's coming up. All right. So these Edomites in trouble, and here it is. They've had it good for all these years. That's why we don't feel bad for Esau. All right, nobody feels bad for them because they've had it so good for so long, and now that shit has turned on. All right, and this is Revelation 17 and 15. It said, and he said unto me, the waters which thou sawest where the whore sitteth are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues. All right, because it said the whore sitteth on many waters, right? Excuse me. All right, and that's this place, man. This place is one of the few places in history. Of course, we have different examples, but this is one of the few places in history that has brought all these people together and has created this. They say it's a melting pot, but really, it's a sewer, man, of all these different nations and all this confusion. Everybody can bring their religion and personal philosophy and all this bullshit over here, all right, and all these other people, they can come here and receive benefits, while the people, which is Jake, of course, who actually built this place and built up the infrastructure, we don't get any extra credit or any extra benefits. So, you see how that thing went where they did those small business loans or whatever. Jake wouldn't get none of that. So, it says, and the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. And, all these different countries which, have joined together to create this union, they're about to turn on this place, man, because of the wickedness. All right, and this is just an example of that. Because America, they think they're in a good case. It says G7 finance officers back need to regulate digital currencies. So this digital currency thing is international. I remember when it first came out, and it was just talked about by a few people, in the background of the internet. Now it's become international because the concept, is something that they want to use to change the banking system, which was fraudulent from the jump. But they're starting to see it. All right, it says, and the G7 basically is a group of different country leaders. Let me see if I had that. Yeah, the group of seven, G7, is an informal bloc of industrialized democracies: Canada, France, Germany, Italy, Japan, the United Kingdom, and the United States, that meets annually to discuss issues such as global economic governance. So when you think of that system that's going to be used to implement that mark, all right, the mark of the beast. All right, it says international security, and energy policy. So proponents say, and we know all these different wars are fought over energy. All right, who has the rights to this natural resource? Who has the rights over that? All right, and the U.S. isn't doing good. And we know every time the U.S. goes through a slump like this, usually it's time for war. All right, just like your average nigga on the block who, Salaki for the analogy, but they run out of work, they run out of shit to sell, so now they're looking to rob somebody else. That same is with Esau's the ultimate nigga, so that's how they think. It says well, that's the point on that. That's the point. It's just a group of nations, and they agree upon different things. And membership: France, Italy, Japan, United Kingdom, U.S., and West Germany formed the group to provide a venue for the non-communist powers, which included inflammation and a recession sparked by the Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries, oil embargo. Right, so that started a whole war. Cold War politics invariably entered the group's agenda. All right, so these are the countries that are riding with, the whore for now. All right, and it says, for the Most High hath put it in their hearts to fulfill His will. Matter of fact, I'm going to go back to 16. The 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, which those are not the 10 horns. Some of those are the 10 horns. Salakia, but the 10 horns are different nations than those. These shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. For the Most High hath put it in their hearts to fulfill His will, and to agree, and give their kingdom unto the beast, until the words of the Most High shall be fulfilled. Right? Yeah, because I think among those 10 horns, I don't think it said Japan. I don't think that's one. All right, 10 horns are those other nations which came together during the Treaty of Rome. All right, so you can look that up off the top of my head. I don't remember everyone, but I do remember the UK, Luxembourg, Germany was a part of that. A few different. It might have been Western Germany, but Germany is a whole now. You can go back and check that out. All right, but They shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. It said, for the Most High had put it in their hearts to fulfill His will. And that's ultimately why they followed this place in the first place and created agreements with this place in the first place, even though the U.S. completely changed the global currency in the first place. All right, it was them that said, look, the gold and silver standard, that ain't gonna work. All right, we got to use fiat currency. And that's how they were able to get so much money, because now they could just print the shit out of thin air. And then, that legitimizes what they're saying. Also, too, just like we read, they had to go to war, with the whole oil producing nations, because they had interest in that. And that whole thing with those different leaders, Ishmaelite leaders, that was a front basically for them trying to legitimize their currency. All of this stuff has been a campaign to legitimize fiat currency, and here it is. It's about to crumble. It's about to fall. All right, and all these other nations, they know it. That's why a lot of them are buying gold and silver. I believe Russia bought up a lot of gold. Which those are again, that's what the Lord's put on this earth. See, Esau's so bugged out, he'll tell you, right, this place was created by the Big Bang. This place was it was just a ball of nitrogen, oxygen, and then that somehow created water, which somehow created some organism, which monkeys came from. And then somehow out of all of that, those special particles, gold and silver, those are just some rare earth minerals, which, are so, inconsistently found that they should be worth a certain amount of money. It just doesn't make sense. Why silver and gold? All right, why not aluminum and I don't know, whatever element is out there, man, which is it's thousands of them. All right, it doesn't make sense, man. The origin of that, the Lord gave us that understanding, all right, on silver, on gold. Hey, He gave the sons of the living power the understanding on all of that. All right, and these other nations, they copied us. All right, they copied us, man, with the plants and stuff. To this day, they still have natural medicine and all that stuff. All that stuff goes back to us. All right, Jacob is the form of all things. I said, doesn't even they'll never tell you that why gold and silver were what they were in the first place, but that's why the Lord created a certain amount in the earth. All right, and if you were able to find it, then boom, that's a value. All right, and then silver and gold, you can actually do things. You can make jewelry, or use colloidal silver, colloidal gold. You put a piece of silver or gold in your water, it'll purify. All right, those are both purification metals. Right, and that's a theme with the scriptures, man. Purity and cleanliness and all these different things. All right, that's why lead and tin or some of these other metals which make you sick, those ain't worth as much. Those are nowhere near the value of gold and silver. All right, so the pure things, man, and the pure thing that the Lord is dealing with, which He's purifying us now, is going to be the elect. All right, and it says, and give the kingdom unto the beast, and to the words of the Most High shall be fulfilled. So ultimately, it's the Lord. What does it say? The king's heart is in the hand of the Lord. Ultimately, it's the Lord that swayed their hearts to even follow Esau, even though they knew he was wicked. Because he went worldwide in a campaign against everybody else to go into their countries. India, these different African nations. All right, China had them, people strung out on opium and shit. All right, it's and the woman which thou sawest is that great city which reigneth over the kings of the earth. So the top nation on the earth is that woman. What's the top nation on this earth? the United States. Point blank, period. All right, this the so-called king of all those other nations. But the scriptures calls it the whore because they open their legs to everybody. Anybody can come here and get involved, man. All right, so hey, call hello Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Bashim Kagadash. Hey, that's the beautiful thing about all this, man. These people think that their vote matters or their opinion matters, who should be leader. Ultimately, it's the Lord that set these men up. Ultimately, it's going to be him that brings it down. I call hello, Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Bashim Kagadash. Abba Babo.